Hey everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of UC Sports alongside Eddie Leonard. I'm Anthony DiBernardo. We've got a great show on tap for you guys, full of updates on all your favorite UConn sports, including the football team, had their past game against Tulane, plus UConn field hockey.
We also got UConn men's and women's soccer. They've had some big games in the AAC quarterfinals this past weekend, but first, our top story, the UConn men's basketball team got off to another hot start in exhibition play this weekend. The Huskies defeated the New Haven Chargers by a final score of 83-43 at the XL Center on Saturday. Rodney Purvis and Stephen Enoch led the Huskies with 11 points apiece. The Huskies are currently ranked 20th in the country as they head into opening day this Friday against Maine. However, the UConn men's basketball team is not the only team dominating the hardwood this season. The UConn women's basketball squad laid a 98-18 beatdown on Vanguard this past Sunday. No, that's not a typo. They actually won by 80. It was an absolute massacre. Mariah Jefferson led the Huskies with 20 points, and 6 Huskies recorded double figures in the match. Jefferson and teammate Brianna Stewart were also named preseason All-Americans earlier this week. Our very own Will Richardson was at Gamble Pavilion this Sunday to break down the win.
I'm William Richardson reporting from inside Gamble Pavilion, where the UConn women's basketball team just faced off against Vanguard in the final exhibition game of the season. This game was won handily by UConn. They won this game by a final score of 98-18. Mariah Jefferson led all scorers. She had 20 points, 4 assists, and 6 steals in under 30 minutes to play. And basically everybody that played got double digits in this game. You had Brianna Stewart with 15, Morgan Tuck with 10, Kia Nurse and Gabby Williams both having 11. Nafisa Collier off the bench, she had 15 points. She was a big spark for the Huskies. Post-game, we were able to talk to head coach Gina Ariema along with Collier, Stewart, Mariah Jefferson. So let's go ahead and check out what they had to say.
The last couple of days, we shot it great in practice. So, maybe it was a combination of the line and the ball, or maybe we just had a bad shooting night. I don't know. And getting used to it, I think, because in the second half we looked a little more comfortable with it. In some ways, if you ask our players, I don't know, I could be wrong, but if you ask them today, I think they like the feel of the ball better. So maybe the answer is, how can I get Nike to make us a ball that's the size of the women's ball but weighs as much as the men's ball? Maybe that's the answer.
I think that, unveiling the banner and giving us the rings in front of our fans and that kind of stuff kind of, really put the finishing touch on last year's season and that kind of thing. And now it's, we're fully focused on what's to come this year.
What's the difference when you're out there? It seemed like, especially early, the jump shots had a hard time falling. Was that part of the ball being?
Yeah, I think it's just because you have to exaggerate more with your legs. And when you're just normally in game situation, you just shoot the way you would normally shoot. So then shots were short or they were too long for pushing it too hard. So we just had to adjust, and I think we did that in the second half.
How much of an adjustment was it from the first game to the second game?
I think that I improved a little bit from the last game. I mean, I was horrible last game, so I couldn't really go down from there, but I think I knew what I was doing a little bit more this game.
How did the rules feel to you? Did they feel any different at all?
Yeah, we got a couple 3-second calls with a wider lane, and some of our shots weren't falling, but we've been practicing with it, so it wasn't horrible.
One of the reasons why this game was big for the Huskies is the fact that they honored the 2014-2015 National Championship women's basketball team. During this game, they also gave out the rings for the players that were on the team last year, and they also unveiled the new championship banner that will be hanging in the rafters inside Gamble Pavilion. So you heard what the players and Coach Ariema had to say, and as they might have aforementioned earlier, they played this game with experimental rules. So basically, a lot of what you saw today won't really happen for the rest of the season. Some of these rules include 24-second shot clock instead of a 30-second shot clock, widening of the three-point line. Instead of the traditional 20 feet 9 inches, the line got moved to 22 feet and 1 inch, and the width of the paint was a big adjustment for a lot of the players. A lot of 3-second calls were made. The adjustment for this particular game was that the paint was 16 feet long instead of 12 feet long. So these were some experimental rules that the NCAA wanted to implement, just basically to see if they wanted to keep them moving forward. The next game for the Huskies will be the season opener, which they open on the road against Ohio State on Monday, November 16th. I'm William Richardson, and this is UC Sports.
The UConn field hockey team, playing with a chip on their shoulder, won the Big East Championship Sunday in a 73 win over the Temple Owls. The two-time defending national champions won their 4th straight Big East championship and the 15th title in UConn's history. They'll now set their sights on the NCAA tournament, which they are looking to win for the 3rd consecutive year. The team is ranked 4th in the tournament, which will begin Saturday when they host Louisville at 11:30 a.m. at Sherman Family Complex. Now on to football. The team traveled to New Orleans to take on Tulane. The Huskies were looking to get back to 500 with a win. Our very own Cheyenne Baker has more.
The UConn football team survived a rain-soaked game here at Uman Field to beat Tulane by a final of 7-3. The UConn offense did not score any points as their defense shined. Cornerback Jamar Summers intercepted a Tulane pass in the first quarter and ran it back to give UConn the lead, and that's all the Huskies needed to get the victory in New Orleans. Both teams did virtually nothing on offense as they combined for over 20 punts. After the game, Coach Diaco said he is proud of the team's performance.
They busted their butts. They played hard for 4 quarters. They believed. They prepared well. And in all 3 phases, there was positive things to talk about. These guys they're awesome. They're all in. They're working their lives. They're working their habits. They're eliminating bad ones. They're starting and creating new good ones, and we're on our way in all areas.
You know, about a good blocks by my defense, put one in for the team. Within the confines of defense, you know, we talk about this post route, and there is no post in our defense, so therefore I seen the post, I denied it, and lucky number 6.
With the win, the Huskies go into their bye week with a 2-game winning streak. From Uman Stadium in New Orleans, I'm Cheyenne Baker, and this is UC Sports.
Jamar Summers, the UConn defensive back, earned American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Week honors for his efforts in the victory. He scored UConn's only touchdown, a 67-yard interception returned for a touchdown. The win puts UConn 1 win away from being eligible to play in a bowl game for the first time since 2011. That will come as no easy task, for their final 2 games will be 2 weeks from now against Houston and then the following week on the road at Temple. Both teams were ranked nationally at one point during the season. For more on what's going on in the football world in the American Athletic Conference, here's Hector Molina.
Thanks, guys. It was an eventful week in the AAC with Houston, Navy, and Temple all remaining an impressive 5-0 in conference play. Navy improved to 7-1 overall as the midshipmen sailed to a 45-20 win over number 15 nationally ranked Memphis, putting an end to the Memphis Tigers' 15-game winning streak dating back to last season. The win was Navy's first victory against a top 25 ranked opponent since 2009. 18 nationally ranked Houston extended its winning streak to 10 games as the Cougars remained unbeaten in 2015 with a 33-30 decision against Cincinnati at TD-ECU Stadium. Houston got it done on the ground against the Bearcats, totaling 266 yards. QB Greg Ward Jr. and running back Kenneth Farrow both ran for triple digits in the victory. Number 23 ranked Temple put itself in position to clinch the America's East Division title as the Owls improved to 5-0 in conference play with a high-scoring 60-40 win. With the win, the Temple Owls improved to 8-1 overall. Well, that'll do it for this week's update on the gridiron. We're going to toss it a quick commercial, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with more UC Sports.
Welcome back to UC Sports. We now turn our attention to the hockey here at UConn. The men's hockey team has been on a bit of a skid recently, losers of 4 straight, including back-to-back losses to UMass this past weekend. The team currently sits 9th in the Hockey East standings, but there is light at the end of the tunnel that the Ice Bus seems to be traveling down. Freshman Max Letinoff was honored as Hockey East Player of the Month for the month of October. The rookie burst onto the scene with a hat trick in his collegiate debut and has accumulated 11 points, 5 goals, and 6 assists throughout the month. Now on to the women, who split their weekend series with a win over Merrimack on Saturday. The game ended in a 1-0 victory over the Huskies, with the lone goal coming from Brittany Barasoff. The Huskies were unable to keep the hot streak alive, losing to UNH on Sunday by a score of 2-1. The Huskies got their lone goal from Marissa Machario. The Huskies are looking to climb out of the cellar, currently sitting last place of the Hockey East.
The UConn men's soccer team had a big win Saturday night as they cruised to a 4-0 victory over the 6th-seeded Temple Owls in the AAC quarterfinals. UConn freshman forward Abnu Makijam notched 2 goals in the contest. He still leads the team with 10 goals on the year. The team has been on fire down the stretch lately. They have not lost a game in 6 games. UCTV's own Cam DeBrusk was on the field Saturday to catch up with the team.
Cam DeBrusk here at Maroney Stadium, where the UConn Huskies just defeated the Temple Owls by a score of 4-0. The UConn Huskies had an offensive explosion, doubling their previous high for goals on the season. And Simon Olafsson was a standout player, playing phenomenally on defense and also adding a goal on offense off of a corner kick, which put the Huskies up 1-0. Abdou Bakejam also scored twice for the Huskies, playing very well, and DeAndre Brown, a later sub in the game, scored his first career goal, so congratulations to DeAndre Brown. The UConn Huskies also 11-5 on offense and just dominated throughout the game and played probably one of the best games of their season so far. We caught up with some players after the game, so let's hear what they had to say.
They came out harder today. They wanted to make the game chippy to disrupt our play, but we just knew that in order for us to win, we just had to play our own game and work harder than the other team. Playoff times, whoever works harder is going to win the game, so that's all that matters.
Like, the guys are doing a good job. That's all I can say right now. They're working hard, and we have to play another game. So we'll try our best down the Florida Friday night.
In other UConn soccer news, former UConn soccer standout Kyle Larin was named MLS Rookie of the Year. He is the second Husky to get the honor, the other being Damani Ralph. In fact, Larin actually broke Ralph's rookie scoring record with 17 goals this season. Now for a UConn women's soccer update. The Huskies had lost a nail-biter to Cincinnati in the AAC semifinals by a final tally of 3-2. They will look to bounce back in the national tournament when they host the first round Sunday, November 15th.
Talk about Kyle Larin. He's off to a great start in Orlando City. Damani Ralph, who had the previous record, UConn.
Really dominating in the MLS.
Representing in the MLS, all rounds. You can talk about Andre Drummond and all those.
Averaging 20-20 through
20
6
and 20.
games.
It's just utter ridiculous. But you guys stick around. UC Sports will be right back.
Well, thanks for tuning in. That's all we got for you for today's show.
Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at UCTV Sports, and you can always check on the latest UCTV videos by subscribing to our YouTube page at UCTV Channel 14.
And as we close out today's show, we're going to give you a sneak peek of William Richardson's exclusive interview with Mariah Jefferson. Let's check that out.
It's definitely an honor. You don't want to take anything like that for granted. And every year you go is different. You're going with a different team, new guys, new people that are experiencing it. So it's fun to see, their faces for their first time going in. And you always learn something new every time you go. You have to bring your A game every game. Everybody wants to beat you at any point in time. So you can't come out taking anything lightly. And practices are probably the worst thing that you'll ever experience in your life. But you learn how to win in practices. And then by the time you get to the game, it makes it a lot easier.